Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Nurse Babe Bray, and in today's video I'm going to talk about nursing burnout because it is very real. So even though we're not in the height of the pandemic anymore, the pandemic, in my personal opinion, helped accelerate nursing burnout like at a record high, because nursing burnout isn't new. It's always been there. However, now it's just a lot worse. We're dealing with people who are very sick, and we don't even have enough staff to take care of these people. Hospitals are overwhelmed. Some hospitals are even shutting down. And during the height of the pandemic, we were taking care of patients with putting our lives on the line, taking care of someone that had a respiratory, illness that we didn't know a lot about, but it was very deadly. And, having to take care of those patients, especially in the ICU setting, was very hard, emotionally hard. It was mentally hard. It was very, very draining to see someone so sick. And no matter what kind of care you provided, some people just did not make it anyway. And then on top of that, adding, the staff shortages, it was a lot. And unfortunately, we're still dealing with that till this day. Even though, we don't have as many, in my area, we don't have as many people being hospitalized with COVID. COVID is still there, but we don't have as many people being hospitalized. We still don't have any staff, and so hospitals, can't turn away certain patients depending on what they come to the hospital for. So you have these super long, ER wait times. And sometimes there's just not a bed available. And so the ER nurses are overwhelmed. All nurses are overwhelmed. And so I really wanted to just give you guys some feedback on what I have found helpful to reduce the burnout and the stress that comes along with being in the medical and nursing profession. And so the first thing I will say is take time off. If you need time off, take time off, and do not feel bad about it. It is okay. Take some time off, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks. Use some of that PTO, or if you're a travel nurse, like maybe take a break in between your contracts just to spend time with yourself or your family or whatever you enjoy. You don't necessarily have to go on a vacation somewhere, but just taking time away from the job, I have found very, helpful, because it allows you that time to mentally and emotionally reset. And so when you go back into the workplace, into the hospital setting, you find yourself a little bit more energized and prepared to deal with whatever is coming along. And so I recommend taking time off when you need to. Also, on your off days, try to engage in some self-care. And I know we are in a time now where self-care is like a huge thing. A lot of people are talking about it because it is very important. And figure out what works for you. Like, what do you like to do for self-care? How do you want to take care of yourself? Or how would you like to take care of yourself? And if you're someone who doesn't really know where to start, then just start with like a basic massage. A basic full body massage will relax you, and it will go a long way. If you don't want to do the full body, you can maybe just do a foot massage. Do something that you don't have to do too much. You just sit there, but it's still something that relaxes you. I think that helps a lot. And also, the wear and tear that nursing has on the body, those massages can be very helpful. Something a coworker of mine actually does is he goes to a chiropractor, and so he does some massages too, but he also sees a chiropractor. And so that is something, and it's really for prevention purposes. He doesn't have any injuries, but that is something that you can do as well. Take yourself out to eat, go hang out with your friends, your family, maybe go out for a drink, go see a movie, book a vacation. If you haven't been anywhere in a while, book a vacation. It doesn't have to be across the world. If you don't want to go that far, you can maybe go a couple of hours away. You can do a car ride, you can do a plane ride. Do something that helps you take your mind off of work. And that is what I have personally found to be very helpful. I take breaks off in between contracts as needed. And a lot of times, so the job that I currently work at, I've just been extending my contract. But sometimes when I extend, I might ask for like a week off or 2 weeks off before I start the next contract with the same hospital. And so that is something that I find very helpful. Also, in the contract, I might just negotiate like maybe a couple of days off in a row and, go about it that way. And if you have flexibility with your schedule, maybe work like a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and don't go back until the next Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And so that's an easy trick that you can do if you don't have PTO or you can't afford to take off time from work. You can just line up your days and just stay focused on the goal here, because sometimes you might be tired if you don't like doing 3 in a row. Focus on the goal, line up your days like that, so you still get that week off without actually having to take off. But I really wanted to address burnout and some of the things that you can do to kind of decrease it. Of course, when you go back to work, depending on your assignment, depending on what's going on for that day or that night, you might still feel like, oh my goodness, like this is just too much, this is overwhelming. If you feel like it's taking a huge impact on your mental health and your emotional health, then don't be afraid to maybe switch specialties or hospitals, because sometimes that makes all the difference. Like I said, staff shortage is a problem everywhere, but that does not mean your experience at every hospital on every floor is going to be the same. So that is something to think about as well. Another thing, also, you could maybe try talking to a therapist, because PTSD is real, and that is something that a lot of nurses have faced and are currently facing, that have maybe taken care of a lot of COVID patients and things of that nature. And so you can have PTSD from that, and I recommend talking to a licensed professional, seeking a therapist that specializes in those type of things, and that can help declutter your mind and de-stress and get some of those things out there, and just find better coping mechanisms that work best for you, because nothing is a one size fits all. So what one person may do for coping, the next person, it might not work for them. And so talking to a licensed professional, a therapist, helps a ton. And actually, a lot of therapists, what they have said is that once the pandemic hit, they saw a huge influx in, clients seeking therapy. They saw a huge influx to the point where sometimes they weren't even able to take new clients anymore. And so I say that to say that you are not alone, and therapists are there to help you, whatever your needs are. Just try to find someone who specializes in that. Look them up online if you don't have anyone that has someone they recommend to you, and just go about it that way. So all of these things help decrease burnout. You have to tackle it a little bit at a time, but honestly, make sure you put yourself first. Always prioritize yourself, especially when you are not at work, because if you work 12-hour shifts or 8-hour shifts or whatever you do, in that time frame as a nurse, you are responsible for taking care of a patient, and you are mentally just trained to put your needs aside because that patient comes first. When you clock out, it is easy to kind of still be in that mode, and you're taking care of family, and you're looking out for friends, or maybe you're in a relationship, and you're giving yourself to all these people. But don't forget to save something for yourself, because you can't pour from an empty cup. You just can't, and you're gonna find yourself even more drained even when you're not at work. And so make sure, while you're pouring into all these other things and all these other commitments, make sure you are also pouring into yourself. And that is all I got to say, guys. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you have any other extra tips or feedback on what you feel like helps with burnout, or what you do to de-stress, feel free to leave a comment below, and I will see you guys next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel so you can know when I post my next video. See you guys soon.